All right, and welcome to another thrilling, stunning, captivating episode of the Senpai Kohai podcast with your boys Steven and Trey. Steven, I know what you're doing over there. You're not fooling me.
What?
I see you.
You make that sound really
I
bad.
see
This
you.
is not how we should start a show.
Behave. Behave then.
I am. Guys, I'm behaving. Like, don't listen to him.
Well, then tell me what you're doing over there.
I'm thinking about the wonderful animes I've been watching in this fall season, and I'm thinking about the amazing gaming topics we have for this evening. Right? We're not anything levacious. Levacious? Yeah, levacious sounds like a word to use.
I think you mean lavender.
Lavender.
I think lavender is the word you were going for there.
No, that's
Not doing anything lavender. No.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll have to look up levacious.
That's a town full of ghosts. It's also the scent I snort before I go to bed. Okay, that's poor language.
It's getting
again.
worse. It's getting
we
worse.
just need to stop. Anyway.
It gets worse. So speaking of anime and games, we're going to be doing a gaming centric episode this time, seeing as how the last 20-something episodes we've done seem to have been a lot of anime, and contrary to popular belief, we do talk about games, which we have at some point somewhere. But this time, we're talking about a lot of games. Right, Steven?
Yeah, we snuck it in a little bit with the Isekai episode. Clearly we have to let it out. So I think this is the perfect opportunity, especially after a great guest show and then our celebratory 4-hour podcast.
4 damn hours.
But that was quite the throwback to the when we first started getting this thing off the road.
Wow, there's a word there. Off the...
Yeah, no, I'm failing right now.
Yeah, same.
Anyways.
Anyway, it hurt to listen to, but before it was released, I didn't say all right then, and it felt off to hear that and not say all right. I said okay or something.
Yeah, you said okay. Here we are. Like I was like, all right, Dad. And so we recorded that opening. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, we had to. It wasn't the Senpai Kohai podcast that we are today. So it was good to put some stank on it and make it what it's meant to be. So. Let's get to anime first before we get to the meat of what we're talking about here with the games. What are you watching?
All right, we're going to do this kind of round robin style because I'm watching a lot of things right now because it is the new season of anime. And we talked about a lot of the titles that were coming out. And the one I want to talk about the most, I'm just going to go like straight out the gate and talk about it, is the show Sakugan. And I don't know if you remember, like when we were recording that episode, I was reading the description and it was like had these weird names.
Yeah,
and it was this whole story about like a father and daughter like mining duo, and I was like, I had never heard of it. Like, and so I was kind of like put it off to the side. But when I started choosing some of the 2021, like I guess winter 22
fall,
yeah, whatever season we are in currently. I really didn't think about it, but it popped up on Crunchyroll pretty quickly, so I decided to watch it. And they had the first 2 episodes on there, and that show is not anything like I expected it to be. It's so much fun. It's got a father and daughter duo who are bickering, but the daughter's a genius who's apparently already graduated college, and they live in this underground colony. And apparently all humans live in these underground colonies within a space called the Labyrinth. And, you know, there's the worker people, which is what Gagumba and Memepu, which is the father and daughter. Like, that's going to be a running thing with this show is they have really bizarre naming.
Those are awful names.
Right? But there's also, you know, every character is some amalgamation of, like, letters that makes no sense. I think one of the characters is a Meroro or something like that. And another one is... it's not Usopp, but it's something sort of similar.
Just keyboard vomit.
It really does. Yeah, like somebody smacked their hands on the keyboard. That's your character.
Now you're //A, and that's it.
So, look, we're not
Good
Elon
luck.
Musk's kid, all right?
Yeah.
Sorry, topical. That's actually old topical. Anyways, this father-daughter duo, she wants to go out and explore the labyrinth, and he wants her to stay safe and just work in the colony. And then hijinks ensue, and you got transforming robots, and you've got kaiju, and all kinds of like really cool character development moments. And the music plays like during the action, and it's really, really good. I have regularly been in our Discord and other Discords I'm a part of in their anime channels being like, if you're not watching the show, you're missing out. Like it's... to me, like it has like a very Gurren Lagann vibe to it, and I really like that about it. It's the action and the characters, everything is just really well paced. Like it's the first show I've watched in a while. Like the first episode got me from the beginning. It's been a long time that I didn't have to give something a little bit more than that before I really got into it. So I don't really want to go too far into it, but it's got kaiju, transforming mecha, fun, kooky characters. Like literally the dad is both the bad dad and a wholesome dad at the same time. And of course the little girl is a genius and also a spoiled brat, but cute too. And it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. And I recommend it to anybody who's looking for a good show this season. But I'll start with that now. It's your turn.
I just watched part of an episode with you, and it was amazing. It was like half of one episode, and it was pretty. It was very well, what's the word? I guess orchestrated. Like it had a really neat jazzy soundtrack to it, almost Persona 5-ish, and it was really fun just to listen. I stopped paying attention to what was on screen, and I was just, wow, this is real funky. This is nice.
Oh, yeah.
And I really liked it. So I think I may go ahead and start this one from the beginning and try to keep up with it too. My brother is watching it as well, and he tried to sell me on it too, but I was like, there's not enough fan service. There's not enough monsters that I can see. Those are my two sellers right there. But from what I've seen, this is pretty good. I actually started Mob Psycho 100 season 2 because of the announcement of season 3. And I loved it. I finished it pretty quickly for me, and it was just amazing as expected from Studio Bones, doing some pretty amazing, I don't want to say bare bones work, but pun intended.
A little on the nose there, buddy.
Yeah, but their simple style just makes it so easy for them to do these insane fight scenes, and it's so beautiful whenever just someone loses their mind and psychic powers just blow up everywhere. It's so beautiful. I love it.
I remember catching the first episode or two of the first season because I read the manga originally, and it's made by the creator of One Punch Man.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like talking it up. So I read the manga, and it's so good. It's so great. I really like it. And I thought I'd watch the anime, but I think I got distracted or something like that. But I remember it being colorful and just really unique and really cool whenever they did anything with the psychic stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really neat touch to it. And I'm very excited to hear that it's getting a third season. I mean, both seasons of Mob Psycho 100 have been listed on tons of lists as like must watch. And, sometimes it's nice to be behind a little bit because then I can just like power through those episodes. I get to experience it all in one go. So I'm looking forward to trying that out too. You gave it a pretty hearty recommendation in our Discord and said like it was worth the watch. So I'm excited about that.
There are some shows that I feel are almost essential to watch, and that I feel could really shape someone growing up. And the way Mob grows up and sees how the world is shaped around him and how it shapes him, I thought about it as I was watching, and I was like, this is stuff that kids need to see. Mm-hmm. Like they can understand, like, oh, I really am shaped by things that go on around me. And I mean, of course, when they see that happening, but Mob really embodies that I'm affected, I have an effect type thing. And I was like, wow, that's a powerful message. That's really good. Kids need to see this.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's like anything risque or anything. This is an anime that like could be shown in libraries on anime nights.
Yeah.
Or anything like that for any public viewing, just for the people. And I was like, this is really powerful stuff.
I mean, when you really think about it, even One Punch Man is pretty tame.
Yeah.
Well, lots of people die, but like, I mean, there's definitely like death in it or exploding monsters.
Yeah.
But I guess there's nothing like sexual innuendo, which is usually the biggest thing that gets things kicked out of like library nights and stuff like that. Because I know, like, for people that don't know, like, in the before times, like when you're younger, going to the library is where you get a lot of your books and stuff. And for the longest time, you couldn't get anything in this genre. Like anime and manga was just a no-go. Mm-hmm. And when manga started becoming huge and things like that in America, they made Tokyo Pop and Viz made a big push to get manga put in the libraries and anime, for that matter, into like their video sections that people could borrow, and it really helped grow it. Like you can see in fandom like a lot of people who found manga in the library.
Yeah,
and I think that's really cool. And I like when stuff like that is going on.
That's exactly what happened for me and my brother. I mean, I don't know if I've already said already, but we found Death Note in our library, and we start not the Death Note. I mean, yikes! But we read the manga in the library, and it was really cool. And that's how we found Naruto afterwards. Apart from me watching it too at some point after the game, and it was cool. We started actually developing from the library, and it was cool. We trusted the library for after that. Maybe there are good things here. It's not just a building. There's opportunity.
I do like the fact that really kind of softened the view of libraries for kids at a certain period. Because I remember when I was younger as a teenager, a lot of people are like, library, that shit's lame. The library is awesome. Hell yeah. Anyways,
so that's it for me in Mob Psycho 100 season 2. I'm doing this in anticipation of season 3. I'm ready for it now. Actually, that's not true. There's a movie that came out for Mob Psycho that I didn't know about.
I didn't know that.
My Verve went straight into the movie. Oh. And I was like, what the hell is this? And so now I got to watch a movie at some point. But
is it actually pronounced Verve or is it VRV?
It's Verve.
It's Verve? Okay.
No one's told me different. So I'm saying Verve. I mean, if Mr. Verve would like to tell me differently, you can find me on Twitter at Cinco Podcast and let me know. But
oh my gosh.
Whatever. So back to you, Guy. I'm throwing you the tennis racket. What are you watching? I'm throwing you the racket, not the ball. The racket.
The racket. Okay. I also started watching Mieruko-chan. It's kind of like a play on the word Mieru, which is like sea, and of course, ko, like 'cause it's a girl. And it's about this high school girl who can see horrifying ghost visions and like truly scary monsters, and how she handles it. And it's like they're always asking if she can see them, and it's kind of got a fun little like premise going on. Like the ghosts are around in her school, they're at her house, and it's kind of funny to watch her react. Though my only concern comes from the fact that I read the manga before the anime came out, so I was pretty excited for the anime to come out. And there is a remarkable focus on fan service on it. Like seriously, zoom in. There's a lot of moments that they zoom in on like breasts and behinds and stuff like that. I think there's a scene where like one of the girls is in like her pajamas, and it makes a point to show.
And it zooms. It was a discomforting fan service shot.
Yeah, like it had it showed the outline of the panties and things like that.
Yeah, like geez, we're looking for ghosts. Why is there a booty shot here? What is going on?
I remember we talked about that because we watched the first 2 episodes together, and both of us were watching this. And we're like, there's a remarkable amount of fan service happening for a show that's supposed to be scary, even with like a kind of like a slice of life twist on it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, the ghosts are definitely creepy and scary. But the fan service definitely takes you out of the I guess pace of the show.
Yeah.
Though once it started like going more with the storyline and like getting to the story elements, like they find a kitten and they're trying to find a new home for it, and the main character girl Miko can see ghosts and things like that, but also around people. So like one of the guys that shows up has scary things around it, and another guy shows up and he's like this scary looking Yakuza guy, and they're like a little wary at first, but she can tell that he's got good ghosts around him to a certain degree.
The Yakuza guy has good ghosts,
and then it like if you watch when you watch that episode, make sure you watch all the way to the end, because there is a kind of closing scene that wraps up that little tiny storyline from that episode, and it hit us in the feels. Don't you remember? Like we both were like,
no, it was really sweet. Yeah. It was really nice.
Yeah.
And I brought this show up to my brother because we were both kind of talking about it too beforehand. After we've talked about it, I was like, hey, we got a spooky anime coming. And then I watched it and I was telling him about it because he's not really into fan service anime. And I was just trying to give him a heads up. And I was like, hey, this one, I don't know, man. This one is a little good on the fan service side. And as I was talking about it, I realized that the fan service is like really high quality, kind of like High School of the Dead is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not sure if this is just like a studio that's versed in those kind of arts that are just kind of flexing some muscles, I guess, while they can also work on Ghost at the same time, or if they don't have anything else to fill that dead space with.
See,
pun intended.
That second thing is what it really feels like, is because when you read the manga, it's very episodic. Like the first few chapters are just like, look at this scary ghost and she can see it, and it's like awkward, and she has to behave like she can't see it. and that's kind of the shtick. And then they start introducing like the story with the Yakuza looking guy and the other guy with the kitten. That started, and then they introduce her friend in the manga, and it's all bam, 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 really, really focused on that. There's not. I don't recall there being that much fan service in the manga. So what I feel like is like if you have something like that, and there's only so much content on it, I don't think there's a ton of volumes on this. And if you were going through it really quickly, you wouldn't have enough, I think, for like even a 12 episode series like that. That kind of shtick they have going on can only last so long without expanding, and there's probably airspace that they had to fill. And I feel like, you know, maybe there was somebody in the office that's like, hey, I know what to do. Tits and ass.
I know what the people want.
I'm really good at drawing it too, so let me get in on this. Like I know that's not how making anime works, but it's fun to imagine in my head.
I don't know. Jerry probably is really good at it, and he probably suggested it.
Like there's always that guy that's like been drawing panties since he started drawing, and he's like, I've gotten really good at it.
Yeah,
I own a lot of them.
God, Jerry, you need to clock out right now, Jerry.
I love our fictional like made up character that we just had. But besides Miyako-chan, I always butcher that name. I'm terrible at the Japanese language. And then Sakugan, and then what else? Oh, I've been watching The Fruit of Evolution.
That's one I've added to my list. It has an interesting title card and description, so I added it to mine. So please, enlighten me.
This is an isekai series.
Absolutely not. I'm taking it off my list. Thank you for ruining this for me.
Exactly the reaction I was expecting.
Damn it!
But no, it's one of those cases where it's like this. He's literally a fat, smelly loser.
Okay.
In the real world, and his whole class, like they literally spend like the first like 5 minutes like showing how terrible everybody picks on him.
Oh.
Yeah, like his class is just dicks to him, and there's clearly you know, he's got a complex and everything, but they all get sent to they all get basically informed they're being isekai'd off to another world.
The class?
Yes, the class. Like the voice of God comes over the PA and informs them they'll be sent to another world to save it and stuff like that. But they need to partner up and they'll be sent somewhere safe. And nobody wants to be his partner, so he ends up by himself. And so the God's like, oh, that's sad. Well, I guess I'll give you one more power. And it doesn't tell him what it is, and he just sends him off to the other world. So he shows up as this goofy, like, fat, like, he's really just kind of goofy the entire time and, like, angry at the world. And he's in this forest with all these monsters and shit like that, just kind of running around trying to figure out what to do. And he's trying to find food, and he eats this thing, and he's like, it's fucking terrible. And, you know, kind of ignores it. And then he continues to kind of survive, and he find out that, you know, he ate the fruit of evolution. And there's a lot of like RPG tropes in here they play with, and like leveling up and ability gaining and stuff like that.
Okay.
But they do a really funny thing where he gets experience, and so it's like evolution to the level 1, and he's like, oh, that's cool. And then like all of his bones and everything start cracking, and like it literally starts like torturing him, and he's just like, everything hurts. Why are you doing this? And it's really funny. So he finds out it's like, oh, here's like level 1 of 10 for your evolution, and like it's slow, like he keeps doing something, like goofy antics are going by the whole time.
Yeah.
He's fighting these monkeys in the forest, and they, you know, are like really high level, and he's not, and he just gets lucky. And I think they do the joke where he's so smelly that the smell kills his first monster. Like he's just like no, and then it's like it just like goes over
his
to the
BO
monkey. Yeah, his BO kills
the
monkey.
No,
absolutely. And then he levels up. Now, he's doing all this, and they show a little bit of the other class, and everyone's like, hey, you were a dick to that guy. Like, a few people like speak up. And it turns out that he has like these friends from childhood who are in different classes that are like worried about him and stuff like that, but all they can do is kind of do what they're doing. And it keeps switching back to them and then back to him a lot, and he ends up befriending, sort of like challenging this notorious monster. It's this pink gorilla. And they have so much fun with this. He's like, I don't want to fight you. And she's like, you strong, me fight. Like, and it's this pink gorilla with this deep voice, but it has like a bow in its hair. And it turns out she's like, it's a female, like big boss girl. And it turns out they kind of explain a little bit more about the fruit of evolution and how it's used with monsters and things like that. And she ends up falling in love with him.
The monkey does?
Yes, the monkey does. So they spend a good chunk of time on this. And it's so funny. It's so goofy. Like, it does not take itself seriously in any fashion.
No, this sounds great. This sounds like some Konosuba level shit.
Yeah,
that
it
I
does.
would really
it does
enjoy.
hit some Konosuba level stuff. It definitely also checks some boxes on like standard isekai stuff. There's a lot of humor going on. That is, I honestly do feel a little bit like it's Konosuba light, because Konosuba goes like just drives off the cliff into humor and just absurdity.
Yeah.
And this feels a little bit like I still want to tell an isekai story, but I want a lot more humor in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I get from this. But it's enough for me to go, this is just enjoyable. It's a lot of fun. It is not original by any means. Like, all the abilities and isekai tropes are there.
Yeah.
But how much fun they're having with it makes up for that in that situation. I can ignore a lot if you're having fun and it's funny. And there's other stuff that happens, and I feel like I've already talked a lot about it and like dropped some plot points on it. So, but if you're checking out the new season, The Fruit of Evolution is a solid watch, and it's I recommend it highly. But I think that really wraps up what I'm watching in terms of like the new season, and we can move on to the meat and potatoes, as you say. That's right.
Yeah.
Get excited.
No.
What?
Oh boy.
Oh boy. It's video games, but what are you playing, Trey? Like, let's start with the big one.
My big thing is what I'm playing. I've actually just finished Hollow Knight, but we're gonna hop back to you for that one. Mm-hmm. So I started Fatal Frame for my first time playing a Fatal Frame game, Maiden of the Black Water. This is the port from the Wii U console brought over to the Switch. And I'm loving it. That I have never played a game that is built like this. It's like a Resident Evil game where you're playing with these kind of tanky controls, and you have to fight with a camera. And it's the way the Switch is built. And I mean, clearly the Wii U is made for this as well.
Yeah.
But you have to play with that controller, and you need to play with it undocked, because it is built around you turning the Switch so you can get the most attack points, and you can really destroy your enemy because there's so many focal points. And like I've tried playing it docked, so I can really see the screen, I can see the girl, I can see the boobs bouncing. It's everything. You're just trying to see the whole
important
thing.
stuff,
the importance, the plot elements. But really, I had to stop, and I was like, this is not the way I'm meant to play this game. Mm-hmm. And so I had to take it off the dock, and I had to put away my Pro Controller, which I hate doing. I love my Pro Controller so much.
They are solid controllers.
So nice. The best gaming peripheral I've ever bought. But I bought the game. But I have to just turn around and play the game and just deal with it, and just play and just turn my Switch and do that. It's so cool. And one thing I'm really disappointed with is, like, I don't see this being played anywhere. Like, or maybe it's just with my, I guess, feeds, but like, I don't see this being talked about anywhere.
Oh yeah.
And it's upsetting.
Yeah, the Fatal Frame series has always been a little bit niche, but it is, the people who find it love it. It's something I've been playing for a lot of years. I actually played most of the series. The one that really took off, like, because the original Fatal Frame, same kind of concept, using a camera to capture ghosts and like damage them and continue your story.
Yeah.
But the one that really took off was number 2, Crimson Butterfly.
And I think that one actually still goes for a lot of money. When I was into retro collecting for a couple years, that one was one I always tried to look out for. And when I actually found it, it was like $150, $200. It was insane. I think for the PS2.
Yeah, it's a huge game. It's great. It's kind of got that weird like Ringu and was it The Grudge kind of
the Ju-on,
like very very dark vibe, like creepy stuff happening. And so like when you have the camera and you see like ghosts pop out of places or like turn a corner or something, it's freaky. It's scary. And that's the thing, is like horror games back then were few and far between, if we're being honest. I mean, Resident Evil had its place, don't get me wrong, and there was definitely like,
but like campy horror has its place, but like true horror where it's intentionally being scary, it doesn't. I don't know, it's still being far in between. And especially back then, I don't really know many games that were trying to be scary. Like the only thing I have coming to mind is Eternal Darkness for the GameCube.
I mean, basically the big names everybody knows. You got Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Eternal Darkness, and Fatal Frame. Like that,
Fatal Frame?
Yeah, Fatal Frame is what comes to mind, but it was really a niche game. It was very Japanese in an era when getting Japanese games in America was a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you either imported and like read like a script off of line that somebody translated themselves, and you hoped it was accurate, and you played the game and looked at the text file, and you played the game and you looked at the text file, and you just kept going. I mean, that's how I played some old import games back in the day, is I had a text file with a translation, and I literally was like, oh, is that the match up to the screen? Okay, yep. You did work.
Kudos.
Yes.
Kudos.
I was desperate to play Japanese games back in the day. And Fatal Frame 2 was one that a friend showed me. And I had never, I remember the first one, and I played it, and I instantly forgot it, which, says something about my level of attention back then. But Fatal Frame 2 was shown to me by a friend of mine, and it was truly scary just to watch someone play. And then I was all in. And Fatal Frame Made in the Blackwater is like the newest one, and it does have a little bit of fan service going on, let's be real.
A lot of it. So oh my gosh, I turned the girl around. I had her in her Ryza outfit, the Atelier Ryza outfit that comes with the game, because why not? And so I turned her around, and literally I was greeted with bouncing boobs. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't expect this. I thought we were fighting Ghost here. Wow, much like Maruko-chan.
Mm-hmm.
And I started the game again and saw it was Koei Tecmo, and I was like, oh, of course.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here. How could I forget Dead or Alive made this game? And so it all made sense.
I mean, Team Ninja is part of that company, so it's not too surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's definitely, fan service is part of the market at this point. But it still at least captures its scares well. And that's the thing. The characters are really interesting. It's well designed. It still has the same kind of like pacing and gameplay style that the previous Fatal Frames have. And I think it's worth the watch. But you're right. Not a lot of people are really talking about it in terms of, I guess, my circles as well. Like I saw a couple reviews posted on I think Kotaku or Destructoid or something like that. But it was just
like the normal people.
Yeah, the people that are on Twitter being like, man, I'm playing this game and it's freaking cool. I never knew this was a series.
Yeah.
The people who are discovering things.
I'm not seeing a lot of that. No. And it's disappointing.
Yeah, it is. So that is a solid recommendation for Fatal Frame Made in the Blackwater. Yeah. I love the fact that they are using the actual motion controls and the system as sort of kind of a pseudo camera, I guess, is what I'm getting from that. Like you said, it's a directional thing.
Yeah. So you turn it. Pretty much just like a pseudo camera is really what it is. So you can get the most out of your frame.
Gotcha.
And capture as many attack points, because there's spirit shards, I think is what they called it, that fly off the ghost whenever you hit them the first time you take the picture. And then then you have to turn it so you can get more in there. And then you turn the picture again so you can capture stuff and make it reveal itself. It's very interactive with this.
Oh, that's really cool.
With this picture thing. You kind of don't stop so that you can keep moving the plot forward. I haven't had to be this engaged with my gyroscopic stuff on my Switch since Paper Mario the Origami King.
Oh yeah.
And as much as I hate having to shake my Switch or turn it and do stuff, it is fun at the same time. I do like that interaction, I guess. I just wish I had a case, because I feel like I'm going to shake it too hard and my Joy-Cons are going to break off. I always get nervous.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter what you do to a Switch. Eventually that drift's going to get you.
Yeah. It already has once.
Yeah.
I'm on my third set of Joy-Cons, I think.
Yeah.
My first ones were, I think they actually did the drift. My second ones, I just don't think I like the color. I think I had to get a color I didn't want. I think I had the neon yellow and purple.
Oh, the Fortnite one?
It was either Fortnite or it was the Splatoon one.
Splatoon is the pink and the green.
That's what it was, pink and green. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want these, but there is nothing else here right now. I can't play my Switch. And then they're just my backups, I think, now. So
my significant other is very, very, very careful with her Switch. Very particular about keeping it in case and not leaving it sitting on the side of the couch or anything like that. Very, very careful, and she still has drift on that thing, which is just an unfortunate thing. But a lot of people like to get after Nintendo, but the truth is that also happens on other controllers that use analog sticks. I don't know what it is, but there are other cases of it on other systems. I think one of my PlayStation controllers, my PlayStation 4 controllers, one of them hit drift on it, and
it happens.
It happens. You
just have to accept it. Just get a new controller.
Absolutely. So is there anything else you wanted to say about Fatal Frame? Like, it's download only. It's only available digitally.
Really?
Yes.
There's no physical copies?
There is no physical copy. I did the research because you were showing it off like on our Discord, and I was like, I want this shit. I want it. I'm like, but you know me, like I'm a physical fan. I want the physical copy. I want to hold it in my hands. I never want to be connected. Like, and this is the case where digital is okay with me. This is a game that only got here because it's digital, and there's always a chance like limited run games or was it Fan Gamer or some of those other like niche companies could make a physical copy.
Yeah.
But I want to play the game. So I'm probably going to pick it up digitally and get after it. So I'm looking forward to it, especially after you really kind of sung its praises. And I'm a huge fan of the Fatal Frame series in general. So it's easy buy.
Now that I think about it, on the Wii U, it was digital only, I believe, as well. You could download episode 1 for free as a trial or a demo, I guess. And then you bought the extra episodes as you went, or as they released them, I guess, over here in the West. I don't know how it looked in the East, but
yeah, I never
wild.
got to play the Wii U.
You didn't miss anything.
Well,
actually, that's not true.
I've heard like there were some standout titles. A lot of them have been ported to the Switch at this point.
I think most of them have.
We're missing out on like Xenoblade Chronicles X. What is it?
That's the last one, I think.
Yeah, that's the only one that hasn't been ported to the Switch at this point.
I believe so. Everything else has made its way, and then, except for the virtual catalog library.
Yeah, but the virtual, like, that's a whole thing we will get into.
Yeah.
But also, I think it was a Paper Mario.
Color Splash.
Color Splash, yes.
That one has not made its way. No one's hurting for that at all.
Clearly.
In the Paper Mario community, they're fine. Everyone's like, good.
Color Splash, what the fuck is that?
I think I'll speak for them. They're good.
You're speaking for the entire community.
For the community,
okay.
They're good.
I see how it is.
Origami King has sated them, and then just once everyone gets 1,000 your door. Although we'll get more into Paper Mario once we talk about the NSO, unless we want to go ahead and switch to that, Nintendo expansion pass.
Let's go ahead and do that. Let's talk about the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass, an experience that has been sold to us many times,
and that I don't know if I can buy into again for this expansion pass. I'm not feeling it. I saw a picture, and granted, it was a picture. I don't know if it was from Nintendo or not, but I think it had a list of all the games that were supposedly coming out, and I don't know if it was data mined or not of what was supposed to be there. But Paper Mario was among everything that's supposed to be there. Everything else that is there is kind of okay run-of-the-mill Nintendo 64 games, including Paper Mario 64 and Mario Kart 64. Yoshi's Story, Sin and Punishment kind of being the only ones that really stand out.
Yeah.
At least to me. I mean, I wasn't a big 64 fan, or I guess I didn't grow up with the 64. Sorry.
Right.
So,
no.
But of all the experiences I know of, those are the ones I'm missing. But Paper Mario, I really liked on my Wii U. I could download that and play it again on my Wii U, and I would love to do it again and 100% it. But it didn't come on these. Wow, what are we talking about?
Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass.
Yeah, I blanked out. Yes, on the 64 part. It didn't come with that, and I could have swore that was all coming out at once. So maybe that was just a misunderstanding on my part, but it was just odd seeing that, and that it wasn't all coming out at once. And then especially all the changes with the Mega Drive or the Sega Genesis, not the Mega Drive. The Genesis edition as well, that's not all readily available.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like they mentioned that these will eventually be available in it's probably like the tiny print at the bottom of the screen of the Nintendo Direct, if I recall correctly. But my issue with the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass is it's quite the price jump for individuals for very little value. I know that the Animal Crossing New Horizons expansion is included. That's great for people who play Animal Crossing. You can also just buy the DLC outright.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like so okay, so you buy, and this is where my problem lies with this expansion pass. If you're talking about a family pack where you're splitting it with multiple people and everybody pays like $7, sure. I can see, because that's why I see a lot of people like defense of the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass is, well, the family plan is a real good value if you have 7 people in your family all contributing,
all playing a Switch.
Yeah.
You have 7 Switches in your house?
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, like there's a lot of like a press X to doubt moment going on.
I don't think I've ever seen more than 4 Switches in one place.
And that's the thing for me is the individual person, because if those that don't know, the Nintendo Switch Online, to play online with your friends and have access to the NES and the SNES virtual console like pack they release, is $20 a year. The expansion pass, which includes the Sega Genesis games, the N64 games, and the Animal Crossing expansion, is $50 a year. We're talking like literally more than double the original price. And my problem with it extends from the fact that the actual value, like the value increase is supposed to basically be, you get N64 games, you get Sega Genesis games, and you get the Animal Crossing expansion, which you can buy separately if you want to. Also, if you stop subscribing to Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass, the DLC for Animal Crossing goes away. So the incentive to continue, besides just pay for it outright once, is pretty low.
Yeah.
There's no roadmap or release schedule for these N64 or Sega Genesis games. And then I have a problem with the fact that you can literally go on Amazon right now and buy a Sega Genesis collection for the Switch for like $30. That includes most of the titles, if not all of the titles.
You know what? You're right as hell, Ronnie. You don't even... What do I even have these collections for? I don't even know why I have the Switch Online. I have the SNES... What is it? The SNES... small one. I have the small SNES. I have the small NES.
The classic?
The classics.
Yeah.
I have both of those. But I don't know if it's worth keeping this online portion. Because, I mean, I have it all.
Mm-hmm.
And they only add so many that are worth a damn. I mean, every so many months. And I click on it just to see what gets
They're
added.
like 3 or 4 months apart. It's only about 3 to 4 titles. The only true like value out of that I really experience on a regular basis is the opportunity to play Japanese titles that they throw on there.
Yeah.
Like they put Panel de Pon on there, which is, for those that don't know, if you ever played Pokemon Puzzle League or Tetris Attack with all the Yoshi's Island characters, Panel de Pon is that same puzzle. And that's the original Japanese name for it. So that was cool. They put Super Mario Picross on there from Japan. Like, so if you like the Picross puzzle games, there's one that was for the Super Nintendo from Japan.
I've never met someone that liked Picross.
You're looking at him.
You
Yes.
like Picross?
Yes, I love Picross.
I'm flabbergasted.
Podcast over.
I just don't know what to say.
No, it's for me it's kind of like a fun little like Sudoku like experience.
Yeah.
And I like that. I'm also a huge math nerd, so you know.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
You're a mathlete.
Yeah, I was a mathlete. I was in academic
gross.
decathlon, math club. Like, hey, this is my room. Don't throw up in it.
I'm trying.
I appreciate that. I actually literally still have medals that I won from this shit. So
Okay.
yes, that's right. I competed with tests in math.
You need to go get tested.
How dare you? This kind of disrespect is unwelcome in this space. Get
fair.
out.
That's fair.
But no, that's the thing with the Nintendo Switch Online thing. Even the Super Nintendo and the NES. Aside from Japanese experiences, there's not a lot of value. I mean, I'm being honest. There's other options.
So the only thing though is that it's all partnered with playing online too.
Mm-hmm.
And so unless it was a separate service that you could just cancel, you get it. You don't really have to participate in it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is kind of neglected.
Yeah.
I don't know how many
and
people.
That's the thing is like the $20 a year, so you can play online for like Mario Party, Mario Kart 64, Smash. Like those are the games. That's why you pay $20 a year, because you get on and you play for hours in Mario Kart and Smash with your friends. You get enough people together and you play Mario Party via the internet. I mean, in the way things are with like Discord and people being away from each other, it's very helpful. But to jump the price to $50 a year for what essentially is about 8 to 12 N64 games and Sega Genesis games you can one time buy on an actual Switch cartridge, I'm sorry, like that's foolish to me.
Yeah,
it's like actually I think if I remember correctly, I was reading a news article today that the announcement for the expansion pass video on YouTube is now their most disliked video.
Wow.
And that's the thing is like I just can't. If anybody has some semblance of adult brain, there's just not a lot of value there. And don't get me wrong, I love Nintendo. They make great experiences and they have great product support for the most part. Like I really had a lot of great experiences with Nintendo over the years. But there are definitely some dumbass moves, and this definitely feels like one of them.
And you know what's crazy? Like, I'm trying to think about experiences to play online with Nintendo, and really it's Smash Brothers.
Pretty much.
Right now. Smash Brothers, you play Mario Kart. I mean, if there's really still much of a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe audience online, I mean, I think I still demolish the same few people when I play online. But apart from that, that's it. And Super Smash Brothers, if however long that stays online, then by all means. But really, we'll see how long.
Yeah, see, because I like the idea of Mario Party via the online function. Like, they just released Mario Party Superstars.
Yeah.
And apparently they learned their lesson from Super Mario Party, which they had to update and like get the online going, and like it took a while and people were not happy about that.
Yeah.
So this Superstars comes out, and it's pretty much unanimously been better. Like everybody's like, this is so good. And I like the idea of being able to play that online with friends. But again, like it's what you said, is like there are specific games that you get online for. Not a lot of games. Not a lot to really like. So I guess that's why the $20 a year package was like, hey, that's pretty good. I mean, I pay quite a bit for PlayStation Plus.
But are you going to pay $20 a year to play Super Smash Brothers online for however many times when there's no more characters being added?
Yeah.
You know, there's no more thrill for that.
Yeah.
And I mean, are you doing that to play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe online? And Splatoon 3 hasn't been put out yet.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. It's a really odd thing to do now. Once your big boy's already gone off to college, you got nothing else in the house.
Yeah. For me, like the biggest reason why I continue is because right now I have a pretty healthy friend group that plays those games online.
Mm-hmm.
If that friend group or that activity level drops, I don't see a reason to continue.
Yeah.
I mean, Super Smash Brothers is something I've gotten into only recently. Like, it's always really funny. Also, way missed opportunity on the expansion pass to drop the original N64 Super Smash Brothers immediately. That is your
immediately.
That is your fucking golden goose. That is your golden goose. Like, Ultimate is viable for years to come. It is. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
Like, even now, like, how long has it been out? Like 4 or 5 years now? And they just finished all the DLC characters?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They could have had this price jacked up for a long time.
Yeah.
Just waiting on Smash Brothers to come out and then dropped it or manipulated more.
Yeah.
But now they want to jump it up.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing for me is like, I think it's dumb. But it doesn't feel like malicious dumb. It just feels like uninformed dumb.
Yeah.
And we'll see what that really means in the future. We'll see. But I still can't get behind it. And there's clearly a lot of fans that can. And so I'm not too surprised by that. And we'll see what moves Nintendo makes from that point. I mean, we basically nailed home the fact that this is probably a boneheaded idea. And there will definitely be some people that buy into it. I know some personally already. But I honestly, like, I wouldn't recommend it to somebody. I won't do it myself. I'll stick to the basics so I can play Super Smash Brothers.
I think I'm about to cancel mine. I think I just sold myself here on the idea.
Well, because you don't play Smash.
I don't do anything online. I don't even know why I've had it.
Yeah.
Actually, I've only played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe online.
Yeah, and no one we know challenges each other. See, that's exactly what I was saying. Is that, right now I'm playing with our friends. Like, we get in voice chat, we talk shit, and like we just all hang out. Yeah. That's a cool experience. That's worth the money to me, especially since I've done that several times in the last month to the point where I'm like, all right, that fun level was worth $20.
Yeah.
I would go to a movie with friends, or I would go to a theme park with friends and spend $20.
Yeah.
If in 1 month out of the year, I got the experience I wanted worth $20, worth it. Cool. But you can't tell me an extra $30 is there for N64 in Genesis. And I have multiple forms of those Genesis
Not for
games
Dr.
already.
Mario. Not for Sin and Punishment.
No, not happening.
And not for not Paper Mario there. That's my biggest hurt.
I love how salty you are about that.
God, I just want to play Paper Mario. That's it.
Like this
so fucking good.
Everybody thinks that Dr. Teal's is supplied by actual salt, but it's just Trey being upset about Paper Mario being
It's just
gone.
me fluttering my eyelashes really quickly into an ice box as they solidify. I can put up a video of the whole process, but I think we better get on to the next thing before I start doing that. So, Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight.
You were playing Hollow Knight. I just finished Hollow Knight, something that a lot of our friend group didn't expect me to ever do.
Seriously, the number of memes and comments that popped up when you said you were playing Hollow Knight and then you finished it.
Yeah.
Like, you would have thought everybody thought it was like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like, who the fuck is Trey?
Yeah.
Who is this Trey? Like, who replaced Trey?
It was pretty funny, but it was even funnier that I found myself addicted to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was amazing. I've started Hollow Knight like 4 or 5 times, and I always got to a certain point and then I stopped. I think I got distracted with other games, and I think twice I tried to stream it, and that was never a good thing for me. I get so frustrated, and so I have to stop, but I also got pressured with the trying to entertain at the same time, and so I had to stop, and that was a better experience for me to just play this on my own.
Absolutely.
And
I think that's a big part of it, like, cuz you actually became a Twitch affiliate at one point, because you were streaming regularly and you got a nice little group. And as a matter of fact, this leads me into me explaining why Hollow Knight is such a fabled game for you.
Yeah.
Is because when Trey was streaming and dropped Hollow Knight, eventually there was a gentleman.
Such a cringe story.
Not
by name. I'm
not gonna do it to him. But we had a nice gentleman join our chat and just commend and over and over and over just extol the virtues of Hollow Knight.
This man bullied me into Hollow Knight.
Absolutely bullied you. But the best part is you could literally see Trey kind of like sort of pseudo being like, yeah. You're like, go away, little brother. Go away.
I've clearly played like 3 games and I haven't started Hollow Knight, man. Leave me alone.
No, but it came from a place of love. And clearly, there was a reason for that, because like you turned the corner. You actually played through the game, and like not having to entertain people while you're trying to play something as complex as Hollow Knight, because that's the thing, is I'm playing it right now, and I can tell you it is a Metroidvania. It is something about exploration, but the battles require finesse, focus, just this sheer skill involved in playing that game. Like I and that's the thing, is like the game is made to be like a traditional Metroidvania where your save point may not be near that boss battle. So if you die on the boss battle, you got to run your ass back up there.
Yeah.
And then you try again and you die and you run your ass back up there. As a matter of fact, there's a reason I hate the Soul Master on that goddamn game, because I ran back up there 8 times.
Wow.
Yes.
That's rough.
Yeah, it was rough.
He was one of my... So he was the 3rd boss I think I had. So Soul Master. He's a my twang came out. Soul Master. Soul Master. He's a boss that has a bunch of orbiting fireballs and he bounces across the screen.
Yeah, he's kind of like a wizard.
Yeah, a wizard of sorts. I hit him the first time by accident, and I got to the roof and the door closed, and I was like, fuck this. I didn't know I was walking into this. And then I lost my souls up there, and so I had to go up there and get it again, and like I'm stuck in this boss fight. Now I have to figure this out.
Yes,
or actually I don't think I was. It's the door before, but I'm intrigued.
Of course,
I have
you can't just leave it.
Yeah, no, I know you're right there. Those cheeks belong to me, boy. Come here. And so I go out there and I fight him. It took me a couple tries, and then I finally got him. And then he has a second phase.
Oh, that one right there killed me.
And I was like, no! The floor fell out, and he was there again.
Worst feeling. For those that don't know, this is a boss that you struggle with, because all these bosses are challenging. And he, like, whenever a boss battle ends, they usually drop some kind of like shiny bauble that like unlocks a new ability or something like that. Kind of like, traditional, Metroidvania. And man, when I got that, I was so proud, and I went to go pick it up, and it was like, psh, and you drop down, and there's the second stage. I was like, no! I was so distraught from this moment, just collapsing literally that I lost. I died, and I was like, I have to do this again.
Yeah.
But with all like dramatics aside, Hollow Knight is a solid Metroidvania, a great experience. I love the way it looks.
Yes, it's I don't even know how to describe it. It's chibi bugs.
Mm-hmm.
It's
really simplified, isn't it?
It's simple, it's cute, but it's dark all at the same time, and it's just fascinating to look at. I love getting to a new area and just what am I going to look at next? And I mean, you'll get there at some point. You have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's a hive, which is my favorite place. It's a beehive, and it is beautiful. It is. Our friend Daryl, who was on the show, he talked about the City of Tears, which you've been in, being one of his favorite places. And I was like, this is cool. But then I got to this hive, and I was like, this is my place. Wow, and it's just neat. And I'd love to hear as you go through it what you find to be your spot.
So far, City of Tears really sells me. Like I really like the character of Hornet and just like the mystery she represents from where I'm at. Like, because I keep seeing her, and it's like you follow her along to kind of see what she's doing. And there's like Fog Canyon exists, and you got all these weird jellyfish things that if you cut it, like the core like homing missiles you and shit like that.
God.
Yeah, it's so every the way you traverse in the game is very puzzly, and I like that. Like, so it has that same kind of like you're constantly looking for an upgrade. You're constantly looking for something to make this easier, and you have to mentally note where to go back to if you really want to find the extra stuff. Yeah. It's like, okay, now I have wall climb. So where have I been that needs a wall climb? Like, I remember there being some places where I couldn't reach. So now I can do this, but like, where was it? So like, it kind of engages you to be a little mindful of where you're going, where you've been, and that's how you find all your extra charms and your extra notches and your upgrades and things like that. It's challenging in the right way. A lot of people call this like basically like the Dark Souls of Metroidvania.
Wow.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I feel really confident.
Yeah. See, I don't think that's a good description. I mean, I've heard it and I can see it, but for me, like a lot of what the game is very deliberate. Yeah. Like whenever I've been hit in that game, whenever I've died, it's not because the game was especially hard. It's because I made stupid mistakes.
Oh yeah. No, I never got mad at the game.
Yeah,
all my 23 hours. Like, I did something and I fucked up and I owned up to it. There was a boss I spent 2 hours on, and I sat there mad at myself for 2 hours. I had to step away, and I was like, this is me. This is all me. I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm getting frustrated. I need to go do something else. Maybe I'll get more mask. And granted, I was cucking myself of powers at that point. Like, I really had to go get some more power-ups. And the way I ended the game, I am a different Hollow Knight than I was before. To be, whatever the proper verbiage would be there. But I am a totally more powerful bug than I was fighting that boss.
Yeah.
So it's neat having that revelation, but it was I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It was just such an experience.
I mean, I can see the connection with Dark Souls in the way that enemies are very deliberate about their moves. Like, you have to change your strategy based on what kind of moves they're doing. Like, for instance, in the Fungal Waste, there's these mushroom guys that are like, "Meh."
Yeah.
And they either roll on the ground where you need to jump and like do a down slash to hurt them and then be on the other side. Or they'll be like, "Meh," and they'll jump up in the air and you'll have to be under it and be like, gotcha, bitch. And you upward slash. But that's the thing, is you have to pay attention. It's very much a deliberate.
You have that split second to read those enemies. I never read them right.
Yeah.
Whereas like you do that sound just right, man.
So true.
They jump or they roll.
I love that noise. Like, I go fight them just because I think it's hilarious.
God, I've died to those fools. I hate them so much.
Hate it. The Mantis village where the Mantis people will fight you. Oofta.
That's probably my second favorite area.
It's so cool, isn't it?
Dope area.
It is dope as hell. And like, I know that the Mantis Lords are like an optional boss.
Yes.
And I haven't got to them yet, but I'm kind of feeling like I want to go chase them down.
They're not that hard.
Really?
Yeah, they sound intimidating, and when you get down there, they're gonna look intimidating, and they're gonna feel intimidating. But all you have to do is just pay attention. That's it. Because I felt it when I got down there. I was like, oh, what are you guys about? And it said listen, I think, or challenge is the option. It says challenge. And I was like, well, my ego's here. So
That's right. I'm going to force my way through this.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I did it. Took like 5 or 6 tries. I was like, okay, here's what's going on here. And that's it. It's so cool.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the mechanic of, like, whenever you die, there's a shade that of your character that sticks around, and it has your money. It has your money.
Yeah.
And you can get a lot of money and just end up dying and be like, oh, there it is over there.
Thousands. I've lost thousands.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying. So, like, you have to be very mindful. And that same kind of mechanic is in Dark Souls. I think that's where a lot of that, like, comparison comes from. Like,
that has to be
a very deliberate combat that's challenging, but not so much that you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then, like, you lose all your souls in Dark Souls when you die, and you have to go back to where you died to reclaim them. So I can see that comparison, but I'd say that that Hollow Knight is a lot more approachable.
Yeah.
I think maybe in a 2D space it's a little bit more approachable, but it is challenging. I will not downplay that. It is very challenging. It does, but it kind of reignited this fire in me to enjoy Metroidvanias. I've often enjoyed certain ones. I remember I enjoyed Dust and Elysian Tale, which most people is the furry Metroidvania, because it's like anthropomorphic animals. And you play this kind of like mysterious stranger, and he's got a sword and like wind powers, and you like slash your way through. And I think it even has like cameos from other like indie games at the time, like Cave Story and stuff like that. Like you can find these like locked up characters, and like Meat Boy is one of them. Like Super Meat Boy is one of them.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a really cool game. It's a really, really cool like melee based kind of like button mashing hack and slash Metroidvania. It looks beautiful. It looks like hand drawn graphics. I can highly recommend it. You can usually get it on like PS4 for like anywhere like around $10, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That was a solid one. Technically, what is it? SteamWorld Dig is a Metroidvania, if we're really being...
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, you get upgrades, they help you unlock other areas. It's sort of...
You die, you have to go collect your mining things. I actually just beat that one over the summer, I think. That one was really fun. I really like that one.
And then there's Bloodstained, and there's Super Metroid. Like, there's so many of these games, and, but I think that some of it became stale to me at some point. And Hollow Knight's really reinvigorated that by being both traditional and kind of creative and new to me. Like, I like the melee-based stuff. I in all those lists that I listed, I think the primary one that really was more melee-based was Dust. I mean, like, Bloodstained has, like, melee weapons, but there's also ranged weapons. Metroid's definitely a ranged sort of thing.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But Hollow Knight's just its own animal, and I haven't even gotten there's like 4 DLC packs of stuff, and I'm still on the base game.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far they actually are. I don't know if they're ingrained like updates or not, because I have little icons on mine, and I read the update notes, and it was cool. And then there is the whole what is it, the Pantheons or whatever it is, and
the boss rush mode, essentially.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that, but oh boy, maybe. I want to go back and 100% it. I beat the game. I finished it at 23 hours at 76%, which is way higher than I thought I was.
Yeah.
I still have to, what is it? Get the rest of my badges or the notches. I didn't even get all the masks. I didn't get all the... I only finished it with 1 extra soul ball. And you're supposed to get like 3 more. And I finished it with just 1. So I still have a lot of stuff to collect.
Yeah. Wow.
So, I'm excited to go back and get more.
I'm excited to see what more the game has in store for me, because our friend Daryl, like you said, is a huge fan of the series. Literally, his Twitch channel is called the Bench Tower. Like, it's all based off of his playthrough of Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
But he did an entire video on an area called Deep Nest that apparently is like some weird, like, decaying, creepy zone.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So I'm pretty excited to see what I have ahead of me. It's pretty much what I'm going to be doing the rest of the week. Like, I have no plans to play any other games right now. Do I have tons of games to play? Absolutely. But Hollow Knight has really kind of absorbed me in that world. Like I keep wanting to find little nooks and crannies, and as a matter of fact, I may have played it while editing podcasts.
You do what you got to do to get through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially for 4-hour ones, you do what you got to get through.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, no, Hollow Knight. Everybody should play Hollow Knight, and even if you
mandatory, actually
mandatory, yeah,
you have to stop this podcast right now. I want you to reach out to Team Cherry and get Hollow Knight and play it. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're gonna wrap up with a topic that is near and dear to my heart, which is the Cotton re-release. For those of you that don't know, Cotton is a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, a shmup, if you will. And it's anime witch girl with red hair, and it's very much just a fun classic shooter in the vein of like Gradius and Darius and things like that.
It's really cute. I really like seeing the art style, like the reminiscent 80s, 90s like anime art.
Yes.
Like it's really cute on the Switch store. Like I scroll across it and I'm like, this looks cute. And I see the shmup. And I'm like, I don't know. Last thing I played that was a shmup was Waifu Uncovered. And I was like, that wasn't something I should have played, so I don't know.
What is Waifu Uncovered?
You don't want no part of Waifu Uncovered.
Really? Is it like a bullet hell where you like shoot off their clothes?
That's it.
Oh, nice.
That's it.
I mean,
it's trash.
It sounds like it's in the name. It's actually not
literal
fun?
trash. No. Not even fun. No.
It's not at least fun, you know?
I mean, I guess but it's just horrible sprites. I don't know.
Just not.
I wouldn't even recommend it. It's literally just poorly drawn waifus too. I don't know. It's not even.
There's a lot of that. There's like Waifu Hunter and like there's all kinds of crazy like Switch like budget titles with the waifu name in it,
and that's
like
what it was. It was one of those. And I was like,
it ain't real waifus, bro. Like I'll post some waifus on Twitter.
Yeah, you don't want to see my waifus.
I got an entire waifu folder on my phone for that purpose. But Cotton is a game that I remember seeing in the back of magazines like Electronic Gaming Monthly, because there was import shops that would advertise in the back of the magazine, and so you could import Sega Saturn games like Cotton. And Cotton to me was just like that epitome of like, I love anime and I love video games, and it's like a combination of the two, like very like evocative of that art style. And it was really the first time I got a lot of exposure to that style in games. The things that made me buy Chrono Trigger, the things that made me buy Disgaea. Like, I didn't buy those games because I knew anything about the mechanics or the story or anything like that. I bought them because, like, Akira Toriyama did the art for Chrono Trigger. The art on front of Disgaea 1, Hour of Darkness, it just grabbed me. I had never played a strategy game before, except for Final Fantasy Tactics. So, I was like, I got suckered into this stuff because of the anime look. And like Cotton definitely is one of those ones that I was like, if I had a Saturn and lots of money, I would import the shit out of that. So getting the chance to play it now with like a remake, remaster, or whatever it is, is really cool for me. Like it's kind of like it's like, like 12-year-old Steven is like, finally, this is what I was waiting for.
It's only been years.
It's only been decades because I'm old. But that brings me to the fact of the matter that there is another like series in this kind of same vein called Parodius, that was made to be kind of like a spin-off of Gradius. And it literally, the game mechanics are the same, but it's anime like kookiness, if you will. There's anime girls, and the collectibles are different, but it's kind of got this veneer of like very anime weirdness going on. They actually released a Parodius like collection on the PSP, which I own, and it's a lot of fun. It's the same thing, like anime girls shooting things, and like you fight, like your enemies are like muscle men in Speedos and different things like that. Like just really kind of odd, like, oh, Japan kind of moments. Yeah. Absolutely. But I think the thing that really kind of sold me on this is I thought it was really cool back in the day, and I got to experience it on the PSP collection. But the one that was really like stood out to me was Odomedius on Xbox 360.
A lot of Ediuses.
Yeah, because it's literally, they're all spin-offs of Gradius. And it's literally the same game but with waifus.
Oh my lordius.
Yes. Oh my lord. Jesus.
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 All right, I'm out. I'm tapping out.
All right. So you've used up all your dumb jokes for the day. But this game was released on Xbox 360 as a way to try to pull in Japanese gamers to get into the Xbox 360 because originally it was an exclusive for the 360. And as a matter of fact, the artist behind Sergeant Frog, or Keroro Gunso, did the character designs for the anime girl ships in that game. And like if I show it to you, you'll be like, oh, there it is. And it was a lot of fun. It had like a weird kind of like 2.5D kind of thing going on, and it was kind of Gradius but with anime waifus in it. And it didn't really stray into Parodius territory because it was still like, you know, bad ships, but the ship you flew was an anime girl with Gradius equipment around it. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I remember playing that quite a bit. It's probably like super rare now, if I'm being honest with you. So like the copy I have hanging around in a bucket somewhere, I call it a bucket.
Thousands of dollars.
I don't think it's thousands of dollars. I love your optimism. It's fantastic. But that genre is something that I always had a lot of interest in. Like, did you ever encounter any of it as you
not shoot 'em ups? Like, I wish I could appreciate it more. I appreciate it from a distance, but arcade style games really don't keep my attention that long, or at least those arcade style shoot 'em ups, like where you're really in it for the score, or you appreciate art in the background, or whatever it is,
or the challenge of actually getting through that curtain of bullets. Like Toho is one that comes to mind that is like a huge deal. Like I love Toho. Anything from Cave is a prolific bullet hell. They call it a danmaku in Japan, and they have things like Mushihime Sama, Death Smiles, Dodonpachi, Akai Katana. I'm trying to think of all the other ones I know, but they would like literally, your ship would have a button that you can slow down the movement of your character, but the focus of your shots are like right in front of you. But if you let go of that, you move much faster and your shots are wider. So you had to kind of like play with like, and they'd shoot like so many bullets, there'd be these little spots to get through, and your ship had a very small hitbox, and you had to literally hit that slowdown button to navigate through all those little crevices in the bullet hell curtain and get back to like fighting it the good old fashioned way. Like Toho did it, and all the Cave stuff did it. It's a genre that is very niche, but it's got a lot of following. And
you know, now that I think about it, I don't think it's for me. And like, I'm willing to try more.
Of course.
Like, just because I need to. I like widening my range, and especially since I have now with Hollow Knight, Fatal Frame, and I mean Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash. I mean,
hell yeah,
the world is my oyster.
The world of Senran Kagura just is a unique experience.
I'm gonna try Bon Appetit and see how that goes. I already have it on Steam, so I might as well platinum it.
I think, did they release like a one called Reflections, and it was literally just like,
it's just massaging the girls.
Yeah, it's like it's literally like the kind of like touching the girl game that's in the Peach Beach Splash, but you never do it because you're like, I want to shoot.
I'd rather shoot with water guns. Yeah. I don't really know what that one's about. I've heard that one's supposed to be more to show the interface of the Switch and the touch sensitivity, but
it just
I don't really know what
creepy.
You can really show. It does. It's like I don't want to explain this.
It's like when I play Monster Mon Piece on the Vita, or like for instance, what's the one on Switch I picked up recently? Moero Chronicle. Oh my gosh! Like it just. You're like, I'm so glad I live alone.
Yeah. This is probably for the best. Let me go ahead and finish this game real quick.
Like this was, and you know what? For me, like it's amazing that we got these games. It's amazing that there is a company like, we know how perverted this is.
Yeah,
we know these people can't play this game in front of friends, but we're gonna localize it anyways. Like that's the thing. You couldn't get actual like good fighters and good story-based RPGs in America for a lot of years, and the fact that we now have things like Moero Chronicle floating around, and so many other titles that never would have ever seen the light of day here, I feel blessed.
Yeah, sure. I don't know what else I would be doing. but I guess blessed is a good way to put it.
Blessed is a good way to put it.
Tainted, maybe. But
look,
blessed
don't
is a good way to
judge
put
me.
it. No. I'm in the same boat. Same boat.
That's true. You are
you know,
just
what
as
would I
big
be
of a
doing-
degenerate as I am.
Absolutely. What would I be doing without Monster Musume? Really is the case.
I
here.
love how much you love that series.
So fucking good.
Like, did you ever pick up the Steelbook version?
No, God, no, I didn't. I can't.
And you didn't buy the Dakimakura of the Naga girl, the one that's like 8 feet long or some shit like
Oh
that.
my God!
Like, did you ever see that?
No, my baby sleeps in my bed with me. Where am I gonna put that?
Baby optional.
Goodness.
But no, I think that's a good place to stop on our gaming journey. We definitely have a lot of other gaming topics we will be covering. I'd like to give you a little bit of insight there on some MMOs. I'm an MMO player. You are not, so we are definitely going to have some fun with an episode on that. But for now, I'd say we've kind of covered a lot of ground on our return to regular publishing.
Yeah, it's nice to kind of get back to the regular. We've had a lot of fun with our ventures.
Yes,
in
absolutely.
the past bit. But yeah, back to your regularly scheduled Senpai and Kohai podcast. Well, I guess with that, Senpai, you want to go ahead and send us out and
Absolutely. You can check us out on your normal podcast listening areas like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. We have a Twitter that's Senko Podcast. And we are doing a lot of different things in the coming months to kind of try to expand and look forward to some of the things we got coming down the pipeline. And with that, let's call it a night, Trey.
Yes, sir. Good night, Steven.
Good night.